Hotep Griot Nation. Y'all know who it is. It's the capital UNC, and this is Griot Nation Radio Live.
Turn that down.
And this is my man to the right, my main man, 100 Grand. Y'all already know Papa Rob. What's going on, baby?
Oh man, that's good. I'm trying to cut this phone down, but we can't hear Brother Khalil. But anyway, hey, y'all just heard us a few minutes ago. If y'all just was tuning in WLK, we're Griot Nation Live now. No more rap that goes out. We've been talking about this, but it finally happened. Unseen just left there, by the way. The first actual live show was you and us. And I said, just see what his English behind. But anyway, man, I am just glad to be here. You know what? I feel good about where we headed as Griot Nation Network. And as a network, once again, we are a platform that carries many shows, including our show. I'm Rashid and Griot Nation, Brother to Brother, The Good Advice Show. Right. What about Trouble? What's the name of another one?
Trouble on the Air.
Trouble on the Air. Is there another one that I'm missing?
No, we got a couple coming, though. Sister Kathleen, we're looking at Beauty in the Barbell. That's another sister that's dealing with health and wellness and nutrition. She's going to join the team with Cora Dixon being the queen of it, and then Noel Bell, myself, and so our health and wellness platform is growing, bro.
Well, you know what? First of all, that gangster.
Man, that show though. And that's important. Message to the black gangster, man. So if you know somebody that's caught up in that paradigm, if you yourself were affected by that paradigm, this live broadcast, that show, and that series of shows were for you and for our community, and especially all those that's working in government and working with our children. We need to come together on this platform, bro. And we went to Buffalo, set the platform up, set the network up, so anybody doing anything can get with us. And now we got the man himself. 25 years, 25 to 30 years. I came a little late. I don't know the exact numbers.
30 now.
Of dealing with gangs and dealing with the black gangster in and out of prisons around the world. And so this brother, I got the tour firsthand. I'm still learning. But when we talk about message to the black gangster, Rob, who we really talking to?
Well, to me, we're talking about our young brothers, our young neophytes, the young brothers right now that we look to protect our community one day in the future. But if they're misguided and they think that they are gangsters, gangsters normally don't take care of the black community. Gangsters normally terrorize our community. Gangsters is that son that you can't control. Gangsters that son that gets so far out of control, now he's no longer a son, he becomes an inmate or he becomes a felon. Gangster falls into that platform where you got 25 to 26% of young brothers right now who's so out of control that they're physically abusing their mamas at home.
Wow.
So you're going too far now. You physically having conflicts with your mother. It has always happened, but not at the rate that it's happening right now.
Right. And what we did, we wanted to redefine the G. That's the campaign. We saw it necessary. We talked about this last week with John C's, and we talked about that on the show. We found it necessary not to do away with the gangster, but redirect the gangster in a way to where it served our community. The young brothers from the Black Panther they were looked at as gangsters. That's right.
When you look that up, you get three brothers coming together. I know we started talking about Huey P. and especially the two brothers in particular. We started talking about Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seals. And most people don't realize Bobby Seals, if I'm not mistaken, born in Dallas, Oak Cliff.
Right.
So it's a lot of times Charles Henderson that y'all know. Y'all probably don't remember because his name is Khalifa's son now. Fahim Minka that you now call Fred Bell. All these brothers I know personally that will play major roles involved. A lot of what I actually learned from Denotra, who joined the Black Panther Party when she was 15. Though she might have been naive and not knowing a lot at 15, she knew a lot more than what we knew because we wasn't there at all.
Right.
And a lot of what I learned about all these other guys that were so gangster, like Amos Wilson, I found in cassettes from her. And the real truth came out about the Maroons. You heard me just talk about that on the show. That's what the Marine Corps is named after, the Maroons. The Mau Mau's, the gangsters from the Italians, their whole style of not admitting who they are and operating off the invisible code.
Whole engagement.
That comes from the Mau Mau's from Africa.
Funny though, bro, because everybody's liberation struggle around the world was a facsimile of the liberation struggle that we encountered and that we began when we were first invaded back long before the history books even talked about it. First of all, y'all don't know a little bit of history about my man Amir. Brother came through the church, was going to actually be, I'm mentioning this because this all goes to my man Gino Salter, who just sent the message in. He was like, yo, he said peace, but he said preach. So y'all don't know my man Rashidi, who basically is dealing with some technical things right now. He's sitting to my right, to your left. he came through the church that way. You know, and it's interesting because some of the main gangsters that you look at as a gangster, people absolute way of you know, going to people with power. They came from the church, right? They had to silence the church because the church was the actual place that most of the truth was being spoken. Y'all seen the interview with Jomo in Buffalo. He talked about how important the church was in our liberation, and we talk about it all the time. And so, you know, in actual fact, you know, the church is significant in that regard. So when you see a preacher like the Sister Kathleen told me, it was
she look at Nat Turner.
Black liberation theology.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right. Things of that nature. So the church is huge. It's huge in our, you know, in our development.
Well, you know what? You start talking about Nat Turner. You start talking about a preacher, Gabriel Prosser. You just go on and on and on back in the history. For those, Denmark Vesey. When you start talking about, not to mention Harriet Tubman. Yeah. All of them believed in a higher force, and even though they took the names, they manipulated them. We still identify with the Christian church because the oldest church is the Coptic church, and religion as we know it came from Africa. Amun-Ra being the first concept of one God. That's why you say Amin at the end of your prayers if you're Muslim, or Amin at the end of your prayers if you're Christian. All that's a part. Now, to me, that's gangster. Right. You know what I'm saying? Let's take that lead. Yeah.
We call ourselves Jesus. Check this out, though. Listen to this right here. This is significant in and of itself. And when you think about what a gangster does and what a gangster is really about, if you really look at that and you trace the history of the gangsters that were glamorized versus the gangsters that were unsung, these brothers, the first people that were in bondage were who came to the shore. These wasn't ignorant people. These were scientists, astrologers. You know, so they were the first. Even helped my man. Even helped Columbus circumnavigate.
That's right. That's right.
And so the G, what went into calling yourself a G? Even the brothers who rolled into you know, Masonic codes and the things that they do now. You know, all that was invented by them.
Well, you know, if you start,
G, man, you know, it's always part of our history.
yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, he said we got a lot of stuff. Make sure I'm not touching the wrong thing. If y'all go to the board, I don't have my board with me, but next week we'll have it.
Yo, and so for those out there, we have a little technical difficulties right now.
Yep.
Y'all can hear us clearly.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Whatever the audio problem is right now. We want to welcome everybody who's coming over from the Japanese radio show in Buffalo, Toronto. All the show tomorrow morning on the church like we were talking about. So we want to welcome everybody to the Japanese radio live. I am Captain Lewis, of course, to my right. None other than the man himself, Moshe Rashid.
Moshe was a prophet of Amun-Ra, the god Amun-Ra. But I want to go back to that G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. G is the seventh letter of the alphabet. And there are two self-imposed pyramids we call a 6-point star, but there's 3 points at each one of them, but a point in the middle, which that makes a 7. If your arms folded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and your feet together make 7. So at the 7th stage of manhood is what we call the G. So now we're starting to understand that the G is also is relevant to God, also to a guide, also to a griot, which is a storyteller, which is also a warrior. But one of the other things about griots, well, they were great entertainers. So you were able to take the information and decrees that the king signed and make sure information was it. See, you were like the internet. It was your job to get out to the communities and make sure you did it. And you didn't go out there and say, well, the king said. Sometimes you sat down and you did it in story form, and sometimes you acted it out the same way rappers do on stage. That's why I say art and activism. You don't understand your power or your essence of where you're from.
Think about it. No internet, no social media, no electronics at all. My man Marcus Walker,
wow. That's right. So hundreds of thousands of copies of, was it the Black Star? I pulled up, want to make sure I got the name right, of that newspaper, you all, his own publication, when there was no network, there was no ABC, CBS, NBC. As a matter of fact, I remember Bruce Dixon talking about when ABC, CBS, and NBC, two smaller little companies came in. It was just a handful of folks if you go back, the history on that. But Garvey did it by going directly to his people And see, we still have that at Griot Nation, boots on the ground. That's what we're talking about. When you start talking about the segments of the show, boots on, I'm saying just left you guys. Matter of fact, I was laughing my behind off about USC's. What up, Z?
Young C, my man, he was on with us last week. He's on with the King Spirit. And by the way, let's look at it, Rod. If you think about the G before abundance and
Yeah.
the G after abundance.
Right.
The G that was not completed by so-called slavery or bondage, and then the G that came after. And so you got this dynamic. You look at a lot of the single mother and a lot of the single fathers. And what it takes to be a G, you don't have the completion of God, male and female.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like we talked about last week.
Right. Right. Even when you start talking about the woman, you start talking about hitting that G spot, we can go deep into that as well. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, yeah. I guess if you hit it, you're really gangster. But my point to that is, all these things are relevant, and some of our greatest gangsters were females. And when you start talking about gangster, it wasn't just your physical ability, even though Griot Nation loves you. Okay. What's it say? What you say about the mic? You know I can't see real good. Also, y'all, we got it going back and forth because we also, this is actually our second time getting everything together. And thank you so much, Brother Khalil. I can't say it enough. I met Brother Khalil a couple years ago at a Savior Day. I was coming up to be the keynote speaker at Savior Day in Buffalo. And I appreciate the Nation of Islam for bringing me up. And while I was there, I got a chance to meet Brother Khalil and his wife, and it was a beautiful engagement. We had a chance to talk, get a chance to really know each other, and we became friends. And beyond friends, he became a part of the brotherhood of Griot Nation. And I don't even know what it's like to be with Griot Nation without Khalil being involved. It's almost like I feel like he's been there all along. And then we met Louis Flames when you came up, and Louis was doing his thing. Louis came up and just blew everybody's mind just on his performance alone. And
your Flames, man.
Yeah. And I can't say enough about Louis.
No doubt. And Louis Flames, is the quintessential brother who saw the need to jump in, fly in his own regard, very disciplined brother, came down with Griot Nation. It's been rolling ever since. He's actually Khalil's right on in Buffalo right now. So we say big up to Louis Flames. To my man, Neil Mack, man. This is very serious. This is hardened epilepsy.
That's right.
Foundation.
Let me get
we need to talk about epilepsy. My man is getting ready to come out with the foundation papers, so we can take a look at what my man Neil Mack, which is a great friend of the show. Take a look at what he's got going on and see how we can get more aware on what's taking place with epilepsy, because that's something that's not talked about in our communities. Orlando, Florida is in the building. Big up, shout back out to Orlando, Florida. Alright, so check this out, y'all. That's my brother. I like that. Brandon Everett. He just shouted out to my man Louis Flame. Gave him some props on that track. That's my brother, man. A lot of love to Louis Flame, man. We got my man from Buffalo. Love the progress. He basically looking at how we get down right now.
Who's that?
Showing some love. My man, Mr. Harris. Lockwet. I think it's difficult to pronounce his first name, but we definitely want to show some love. Joseph Andrews in the building.
Yeah.
Peace to the lovers. Okay, I appreciate that, brother. We lovers on a whole lot of different levels. We appreciate the shout out, man. We talk about that every day on the relationship segment. But right now, we got art and activism. Y'all need to really take a look at this, man. If y'all haven't seen the foundation, this is Louis Flame. Shout out, give some support to the brother. 716-507-55034.
Neil Mack.
Neil Mack.
Yeah, Art and Epilepsy Foundation. Neil and I have been talking. We go back a long way. We met Neil the first time we went up. Right. That was about 6 years ago. And Neil has been dealing with some illnesses now. What is the origin of epilepsy? I mean, you do a lot of wellness. You kind of know a lot about it.
The origin of epilepsy, in my humble estimation, is some form of trauma that either was committed in the womb, if the child comes with, born with it, or if it's developed or picked up or is noticed later in life, then normally when I see epilepsy, it's associated with some level of trauma.
What about the seizures? The seizures, because that's what Neil's been dealing with, a lot of the seizures. I heard you talk a little about that before too.
Yo, first of all, Lawlette says she's a girl. It's difficult to see your name, sister, Miss Harris. I just put it like that. You're a female. She is a goddess. Definitely apologize.
What's up, sister?
And but anyway, so charging to my mind, not to actually to my eyesight, and not my heart. So
it says this is more forthcoming of neurological disorders that affects people of all ages. Epilepsy means the same thing as seizure disorders. It said it's characterized by unpredictable seizures and can cause other health problems. It said it is a spectrum condition of which range from seizure types, controlling various person to person. All I know is we're dealing with Neil having lost half his tongue, falling, bust his head. So anytime that you lose consciousness immediately, that means it's a free fall for your body. That's what frightens me about passing out or having a seizure. You know, because that one strike, you can have a seizure. Not only could you just lose your tongue and choke yourself to death, but just hit your head and lose your life.
Yo, we appreciate the love from my man Brandon Edwards. You know, we know how to recover, man. You know, it's all love. That's how we get down. We've been doing this for a while. But hey, check this out. Make sure y'all get with Neil Mack. Everybody in Buffalo know Neil. Make sure y'all get with Neil, man. Support the Ardent Epilepsy Foundation. When we get back to Buffalo, we coming to where my man Neil's rest at. We're going to bring all the people out, man. And we're going to do Juneteenth the right way. Not only with the ceremony, but with the events, but we're going to bring the people to the forefront. Because this is Griot Nation, and we are about the people. To my man Kevin Sweets, Kevin Soto. Peace to the Griot Nation. Peace back to you, baby. We appreciate you.
Yeah, too, man. Also, too, about the whole thing about gangsters. One thing I said to Unseen that I guess it was last night we was having a conversation, or the day before yesterday we had this conversation, especially about hip-hop. That was one of the biggest distractions known to mankind. Distractions, the diversions, redefined as a genre of music. And where it led us and the damage that was done from the airways to the brains of our young folks. Irreconcilable with the damage that was done. And everybody wants to be gangsters, and that's what we preach to our children. Old generation of children went to jail. I mean, I'm on the board that was in these juvenile departments, in these prisons. We going hard in the paint and the soundtrack to life. We need to fuck each other up on the music while we let our most volatile point as a people. And the people who were distributing the music to make sure the music came out didn't even look like you. That shit you gonna talk to me about what hip-hop took. You done lost your mind. But anyway, that ain't gangster. I'm sorry. I don't know how I got back on it. With Ice Cube, I said, I really like people like Ice Cube. I was cool with him. But don't start talking like NWA did shit. They didn't really do shit for us. I mean, they were talking about fuck the police. I was saying fuck the police before they came along. A whole bunch of folks were. It just wasn't on CD. But they were saying a lot of other shit like killing people, talking about killing children, talking about raping folks. That's what they were saying on some of their music.
Direct some of the things that we were dealing with and not shy away because of popularity. Just because somebody's popular don't make them a leader. And we have that bad in Chicago. So I mean in America. So big up to Bernadette Lucas. You know, she coming in from Chickawaga, New York, man. Appreciate the love,
that's
man.
Right, man.
Yeah,
I have a name
Chickawaga, New York. That's Bernadette Lucas, man. Appreciate the love. Love the Griot Nation. Keep up the good work. If it were not for you, it wouldn't be no good work.
Hey, sister, hit somebody up and share the video for us, too. All you all that are watching, we want to grow, we want to continue to grow, and we need your support to do it. 6 years ago, we were just 30 minutes on the air, just having a conversation with just me. But then 6 months later, obviously, my man right here was involved with me, and then we just kept on moving from 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and from 60 minutes to 2 hours, and then from 2 hours in New York and Buffalo. Then we went to Auburn. And then from Auburn, we made our way to Radio Phoenix, and from there to Manchester, and we continue to grow right about now, you all. And we need your support on a continual basis. So share, and thank you. I just wanted to say that. And thank y'all for the love y'all showed us. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see y'all. Well, I seen went up there and handle his business.
No question, man. It was a beautiful thing. Representing for the people representing for the nation, man. We got it together, did some great things with the Boys and Men Conference, with Jackie Mines. If y'all haven't seen some of the video footage, it's coming out. We Out Nation, you get a chance to see what we're doing. Some of the things we talked about, the prison, the school-to-prison pipeline, which my man Ross directly related to, had contracts with schools in New Jersey and some other cities around America, in which we dealt directly with that situation, going into schools, dealing with SOR officers, dealing with some of the punitive things they did for our children, rather than the developmental things. So we live on the ground. If you want to see the work, if you want to see where this show comes from, check us out on all our YouTube, not YouTube, but on all our social media channels. We Out Nation Radio, We Out Nation. Just put it in, check us out. You'll see the work. You'll see what we really about. So big up to everybody that support us, because we support you back. And like I said, if you got something going on, you got something you need to deal with, this platform is for you.
Hey y'all, tonight on the air, y'all heard me talk about the Maroon Nation. The big up to the Maroons. We always talk about the Crip Blood, Focus People Nation, but I gave you the origin of how Crip Blood and Focus People Nation actually made their origin. So some of y'all start rocking some of your t-shirts and start throwing that maroon up there. Throw the griot up there, because the griot were power warriors. Y'all was talking about, what did you just call them, the Power Rangers. A lot of the things that y'all get from these cartoons or facsimiles of us that y'all don't really get. So all I'm saying to you all is this: even though I may be harsh a lot of times with what I said, I love the hip hop artists who had some good things to say. And I learned a lot from Lasana about the transition.
Lasana Hotel, what's up, brother?
What's up, baby boy?
Big up to Lasana Hotel. Man, he sent us a compilation of hip hop tracks.
Yeah, he did.
He bumped almost every single one of them on the We Out Nation Radio show, and that's what you look forward to on the show, man. The type of music that when you hear it, it uplifts you, man. It puts you in the right spirit. And like my man say, it's difficult not to be passionate and hard about some of the things that we see in the community, because when you out there, you see both sides. You see the brothers really trying to take care of business, and the sisters that's struggling hard. Then on the flip side, you got the police in the middle, and then on the bottom rung, you got us doing things to us. And we realize that all of it is a product of trauma. We're dedicated to reversing the trauma, but in the process, he and we and everybody else, we have to vent also. And the reason why we vent to family, because you love and you trust family. And so with that being the case, Charles, like I said, realize what and where everything comes from. Create consciousness that develops, or not create consciousness, express consciousness that develops understanding for one another, and not make you the smartest person in the room or try to judge the next individual, man. A lot of pain out there, and we need to recognize that, so that when we engage in each other, we can have the necessary understanding, to make sure that we embracing each other through hard times. Now, check this out.
Lonzo. I'm going to show you. You're talking about images shaping your reality. You might be able to see him from here. So I pulled up some of the images. Now, Denzel Washington had never won. Had he won an Oscar before?
No, I think that was the first one.
Now, we know that the brother is we always know how talented our artists are. But nevertheless, Lonzo, y'all, can you forget Lonzo?
One of the best movies ever.
Shoot program, nigga.
Hey, I got a question. Anybody out there, I would like for y'all to answer this question if you out there, and ask a question concerning this, what I'm getting ready to ask. Why do you think we are entertained by violence? Why does violence entertain you? Why does seeing another individual shot? Why does seeing another individual robbed? Seeing a sister get raped? Why do these things have entertainment value to us as a people?
That's a good question. And I want y'all to respond before I even say anything about it. I remember going to see the movie. This is how long ago it was. It was with Will Smith, Independence Day. And some brothers came in the movie, and this was a movie in the hood, and we went in, and while we watched the movie, I was sitting down, it was jam-packed. About 7 or 8 brothers came in, young brothers I seen. Probably young brothers that would be a part of our clientele. I would probably say they're in association from 14 to 19. They came in, talking, nigga, what up, nigga, dapping, just all the vernacular, loud, on purpose. So when you come in, everybody quiet, and somebody tell you to be quiet, the bravado goes out the door. I mean, they was being so ignorant until and then I was gonna say something. That was the first thing that came to mind. But they sat down and kept on talking. Somebody said something like, but as soon as folks started screaming, it was like that shit was therapeutic for them. The more violence that they saw, the more calmer they got.
You talking about 9/11?
No, I'm just saying when the movie came out, whatever July 4th was, Independence Day, it wasn't the movie as much as the violence in the movie and how it changed the attitude of the brothers who were sitting there. That was just a case scenario is what I'm saying. And a lot of times, you ask yourself the same question. I can come in a room, he's trying to be so hard and spending a day room when I'm talking to him, and he's trying to be nice with him, it ain't working. Until you like, mother! And as soon as you go to fuck off, it's like it all comes into play. And people assume that's how you control us. No. Those exceptions, not the rule. That's not how everybody feels, and that don't happen all the time.
Big ups to Shungo, RBG.
Shungo. I know, that's where the shirt came from, Johnny.
That's why I like that shirt. Yo, big ups to Shungo, man. Good look, man. Yo, y'all check out KMTFlix.com. KMTFlix.com. All right, check it out.
Here's the other one right here, y'all. We would have the flat screen up today, but you know, later on we come, you'll start to see
Menace to Society.
Menace to Society. Look, a part of what we talked about on the air was images shape your reality. What you see reflects what you feel reflects what you think. How you think dictates how you act, and how you act will dictate how people will react to you. Then that means that we have been bombarded with a series of of stereotypes that we follow, stereotypes and profiles. Everybody believes the stereotypes in the profile about the young black boy. So he becomes the first line of defense or the first line of attack. As soon as first grade or third, when he's 3 and 4 years old, even if he starts with Head Start, right away. And then even before that, the attack begins, Mom. If you start to go out to his dad and start talking about his dad, it was shit, he wasn't nothing. The attack starts early. So many times the attack on that young brother begins at home. So, you know, and a lot of other things I want to say, y'all, too, is stop with the good hair and the bad hair. That came because of gangsters told you that you were ugly. You look the way you look because of a process called phenotype adaptation. That's adaptation to the physical features, to the environment that you live in. Not because one person is ugly, not because one person is pretty. It's because you look the way you look because of where you came from, how you developed, the origin over years, over thousands of years. So we are not gangsters. And there's been a series of movies. And not to mention, you know, the whole, at one while we would call it gangster rap. That was the name of the music. You define it as gangster rap. And even that, who controls gangster rap? And what happened after Public Enemy, Unseen? When Unseen came, we're going to talk about this. Public Enemy was out there, Boogie Down Production, the KRS-One, I mean, the whole 9 yards, and there's some others I may have missed. But the state of consciousness that I was seeing at first, man, was off the chart. And then all of a sudden, whatever was off the charts, man, was no longer in existence. All kind of ignorance came out. And I know that we had Freeway Rick Ross on the show, and he wasn't aware that the government was involved in making sure that he became one of the best drug dealers on the planet, to make sure that crack cocaine was in our community, to make sure that there was a business that was there, because the young brothers have always had the highest unemployment rate. So what you do is you create a business in the community, a drug business, where the fallout generally is you losing your life. You taking 80 to 85% of all the risk, and you making the least amount of money. And then you compete with your other young brother who ain't got no job either. Your clientele is your mamas, your sisters, your daddies, your brothers, your friends. And then you got a music that's out at the same time while all this is going on, where the idea of the music is to kill the consumer. You advocate killing the very consumer. That's what I felt about gangster rap. You advocated killing the very consumer who bought your music. You advocated killing the very artists that look like you in the communities that look like you. All right, well, you said, well, look, that's where I came from. That ain't where the fuck you just came from. Yeah, there may be some killing in your community, but somebody being born in your community. There's somebody making love in your community. There's some spirituality in your community. There ain't no one community that's just all bad. So what ended up happening is we were given one lane. And on that freeway, it wasn't really free. This was a way you said or you didn't get on the air. So when brothers came into the studio, We followed that gangster mentality. The first 16 bars about nothing but gloom and doom, and the bitches you gonna fuck, how many niggas you gonna kill, how many wigs you gonna spit, how much dope you gonna smoke. Look, man, we don't need no music, and the essence of the music is how many people you gonna kill, fuck, and beat, and maim in your neighborhood. So when you do this, what happens? The world gets to see you as such. I remember I was performing in Africa, about 3,000 people, and I remember coming off stage, and a dude dapped me up and said, "What's up, my niggas?" Now, he meant that in a good way, and I understood that he meant it in a good way, but I understood the stereotypes and profiles and attitudes from the distribution of hate and genocide is why he had the attitude about me. He didn't know me, but he thought he knew me. And he thought the best way to communicate with me was to talk to me in the manner that all the distribution companies that sent you out, niggas, bitches, hoes, fragmented neighborhood, and fragmented people. That's what I think came out of hip-hop for the most part. Now, hip-hop, the community, them brothers that was out there that's rapping about things, man, that had beautiful music, that had beautiful art, that was something that's totally different. But that wasn't what you were hearing on the radio. That wasn't what you were seeing in the T-shirts. That's not what was going on in the park. These brothers had to fight to get visibility. And now, it's a goddamn mumble music. Excuse me, y'all, with my language. You know, and I'm going to fall back on that. But all I'm saying to you all is, we got to deal with it. Who is this right here? Gino says that 85% are mentally blind, dead, and dumb. I get it. And I get what we do, I mean when we say that. It's easy to launch an attack on black people. And when you start talking about getting gangster, we can be racist on each other. You can't be racist to white people. If racism is the ability to enforce your prejudice to keep somebody from having a job, feeds on each other in the prison system, other than the brothers. And then this is taught to young brothers when they're young. Instead of y'all, we always at work, without question. And I'm looking at Nicky Barnes right now. If I had a chance on my flash screen, I'd pull it up. I'm trying to get us some of these up. But Nicky Barnes, as a matter of fact, I think Nicky Barnes is under federal witness protection now at one time. Let's see. All right. Jeff Ford was another one. When you start talking about, okay, can't touch this. Oh, Static. My man says Static.
It's the court. It's the court.
We get to. Hold on. We jumped up. Look at y'all. Here I come. That's my daughter talking right there, y'all. So we multitasking right now. So every time I touch the car, it seems like we getting static. Tonight, you all, for the most part, for Griot Nation Live, our first thing, you all, is really just getting it out right. Big up to Unseen and John C's when they did their thing in Buffalo. So a lot of what we're doing now is, off the heels of the show, Message to the Black Gangster, is to really make sure you get everything together, okay? I think they're working on it now. Yes, we are, sister. Who's that? Miss Harris? Okay. Anyway. mankind, you're really gonna be the most powerful person in the movie. We have been conditioned many times to accept gangster behavior. They tell our children to mediate. We didn't mediate in World War I and World War II. We didn't mediate in the Revolutionary War. 'Native Americans or Indians. We come up with a name for them, right? Yeah, we come up with a name for the people that we gonna slay, and then we take smallpox blankets and up there and we kill 300,000 of them. Now, after all of that, what I just said, what would you think that the origin of this gangster behavior come from? With no consideration of the collateral damage and the fallout on your ability to make money, because every move you all was capitalism was the key, because capitalism operates off fear, ignorance, and opportunity. And those are part of, and most gangsters trying to get paid. The only thing different is they were buying you. Ain't no difference. We buy and sell our sisters. And the second thing to the guy who was over us is the closest thing you can get to buying somebody shit, niggas, when you pimping.
No doubt. Appreciate Joseph Andrews. Appreciate y'all bearing with us, man. Appreciate the love. The sister said that my man got to step off for a minute. We handling business right now, and so now we getting ready to get it cracking, baby. We feel good that we feel good that we back on. Everything is rolling, and so appreciate y'all bearing with us. But check this out, man. This thing about gangsterism, like my man is talking about, giving you the history lesson or what have you. Everybody know one. I'm gonna give y'all the best recommended movie to check out. Griot Nation recommended viewing. It's a movie called Kicks. K-I-C-K-S. Have your children, the family, sit down and watch that movie. We're gonna do a review on the movie on the next show that's coming up on Griot Nation Radio next Sunday. That show is actually the Memorial Day show. That's Memorial Day weekend. So that's when families come together. That's when families relax and do their thing and what have you. So you get your family, watch that. That is a great example of what the depths of gangsterism and what it really means to be a gangster. There's a brother, you just, it's amazing. Best movie, hey, it's on the level of Crash. If y'all seen the movie Crash, and which means that every time you crash into somebody, they got a story that caused them to do what they do. You got a story that caused you to do what you do. And so to get to the depths of the gangsterism, we have to understand what really is causing that trauma and what's causing us to do what we do. So the brother keep giving you great examples. Black Seizure is the one that we're looking at right now. And to Shango and all the other brothers out there, we know what RBG stands for. And we did a show with Dr. Khalid and in one of the clips and a lot of RBG music because, again, in the war, every Kicks, Joseph Andrew Kicks, check that out, man. I'm telling you, it's coconut. It's for the people that have already seen it. Make sure you let somebody know and make sure you talk about that movie. That's a very important movie for our young people to see and the parents alike. But like I was saying, the main thing is, or what we're looking at here, is when we dealing with this gangsterism and the concept of it, and when we dealt with like RBG, for example, we looked at it as red, black, and green, like you see the fist on my man's shirt. However, it took on a different meaning when the young brothers got a hold of it and began to do what they do. Gangster, like my man, really showed me what gangster meant, and that was speaking truth to power and standing up for your community and doing the different things that is necessary not to operate in fear, right? And we ain't saying be stupid. Right. So when you hear the revolution and you're going to pick up guns, you're going to handle your business. We've been at war ever since we got invaded the very first time. And so with that being the case, you always had different people doing different things to operate or play their part in that war. So it ain't the revolution just because of the gun against the gun or the power against power or might against might. It's this. It's everybody that's dedicated to holding the black psyche in place at all costs, right? At all costs. And big up to Kobe Bryant. He sent my man down in Bar Springs, a young brother that got killed. Y'all saw with the rifle, the Bar Springs police killed a young brother. My son, that was a great friend of my son's. Went to the church. My
my son's pastor did his service. Big ups to Kobe Bryant. You sent him a jersey. Sent his brother a jersey for his birthday. Colin Kaepernick sent him a message and told him, hey, man, stand in there. We know what you're going through. So these are examples of athletes with a platform who are trying to take a hold of the G. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. On every aspect, we got people that's doing things, right? And we acknowledge that. And we use our consciousness and our platforms to bring these different efforts together. And by bringing these efforts together, then we create a nation, or we create a Pan-African nation of G's. So RBG, the athletes, Muhammad Ali was one of the greatest examples. The single mothers, even some of the brothers that's locked up in the hole right now. One of the most dangerous things you can be in the penitentiary is a conscious individual, because now you got to cap the audience. And so we look at what took place with my man Mumia Abu-Jamal.
And I hope he's all right.
And yo, we need an update on Mumia Abu-Jamal. If you listening to my man M1 of Dead Prayers, if you listening, get at us, man. You know you're a good friend of the show. Matter of fact, you out of Dallas. Make sure you holler at us, man. Hey, even Shango, if you got an update on Mumia, make sure you let us know, man, so we can get it to the show. Call me, bruh, 716-994-3877. Hit me up. Get on the brink. Let the people know what's going on with some of our soldiers just behind enemy lines. Truly, we all are. But when you're inside the cage, you already know the controlled environment and the things that happens inside of there is different and much more intense than what happens to us out on the streets. But some of our best minds, and like the brother said earlier, the 85%. The 85%, you know, for the 5%ers and different people that talk about this, 85, 10, and 5. Very important. We all are traumatized, and we all wake up at different levels and express different levels of consciousness. Even plants have consciousness. So everybody's conscious is just a matter at what level. But most of the people that are locked up in a penitentiary find themselves arrested. They are dealing with true mental and psychological issues. Not just not being aware, but real true mental and psychological issues. And so when we deal with our people, we have to deal with the whole experience of our people, and not just our perspective, what we've learned, and then we look from that perspective. We have to see things from the perspective of our people and what they've been through. So when we talk about this 85%, even when we talk about police officers, you're talking about a 49 to 60%, 49 to 60% alcoholism rate. That's very, very, very serious. Very serious. And to my man Gino Salt, appreciate you sharing Griot Nation Radio Live, man. To everybody out there that showed some love through the difficulties of the sound, to the people that logged on, that got with us last week, man, we appreciate the love. We carry out in heart, mind, and spirit. And like I said, what is the fascination with the violence? It's because violence was committed against us. What is the fascination with all the sex and the heart and some of the addictive things that we get involved in? Because these things were imposed upon us. You run to these things for understanding. They create a level of relaxation to even deal with the trauma and deal with the pain. So we have a situation where when we deal with us as a whole, then we're able to go into it in a way. Louis Flame, man, I see you blowing up, baby. I saw the flame all over the screen right there. You know, big ups, man. But this trauma is something serious, man. And understand that everything you see in our community is a result of this trauma. Until we get serious about reversing it, then we gonna continuously have these issues where when we stand up, somebody gonna be looking right back at us, talking about this is what y'all doing to y'all. But in truth, everything, crime follows socio-economic patterns and proximity. So ain't no black on black. You know, these are patterns that were brought to us to keep us looking at ourselves as being the ones that, you know, that caused this, when really it's not. Nobody can impose systematic death and genocide upon you and then turn around and charge you for acting the same when you didn't have a choice. You were given the illusion of choice. And with that being the case, we need to have this understanding. We are our own doctors. Only we can save us, like my man Flame just put on the screen. Only we can save us. And the only way we gonna do it is by properly diagnosing and understanding our real condition, man. And I know it's hard. When you see that brother that seems like he don't want to do nothing, right? Seem like he's sitting outside the store, or seem like, you know, he's skipping school, or, you know, he ran out on his family. All these those things are nothing. If Harriet Tubman and all the people that tried to hold us down, Marcus Garvey, looked at their people for their behavior and not their potential, we wouldn't be in the position that we in right now.
What I don't like, man, if you want to talk about behavior, first of all, somebody that condition intelligent people to be, damn, man, I hate this the word that I'm looking for, unseen. When a man is not decent and he's not trying to be not decent, I guess the word I'm looking for. You know, if I would have came a long time ago and I saw a man laying on the ground and his clothes were halfway off, me and my boys would probably help him up. But the first thing we do is we try to pick his clothes up,
exactly.
Raise his clothes off,
exactly.
You know, but
stop him from being exposed.
And it's a word that I want to, and I'll come back to that. But here's the other one. I can't stand that nigga that show up on the cut and want to be hard to everybody.
Right.
Make you think I'll bust a nigga in the cap. You come up and you're intentionally trying to frighten the people in your community, and your claim to fame is nigga how hard I am.
Right.
And here's the other thing. They put these images like a Manchurian candidate in front of us all the time, whether it be Tukey Williams. Tukey Williams, y'all know Tukey Williams on the Gong Show?
Wow, that's
Tukey Williams was a bodybuilder. So Tukey Williams going there, and that was one of the things. And then when he got injured, one of the reasons why he got on Sherm is because he didn't have the money to take care of the pain.
Right.
You know,
that's deep. And so that's the story. Sherelle Harris. But hey, big up, sister. Appreciate the love. Hey, Sherelle Harris. I see it on the screen.
What's up, Sister Harris?
Hey, but you know, you talk
50
about
Cent. I'm sorry.
Right.
Who's another one that we saw? Suge Knight. I mean, just be thinking of they put them in front of you before it's over. We're gonna show you all the iconic people or imageries that they use to trigger you.
Right. And the main thing with that is, it's not just knowing the history. It's understanding history from the perspective by which it's told. Understanding the events from the person that's telling you. Because you're actually getting that person's perspective. They're not just sharing facts with you. They're sharing their mentality. If you look at history from a Eurocentric perspective, then you're going to get the storyline or the message that they want to get through the history that they're showing you. So with that being the case, we have to have an Afrocentric perspective on how we look at the events, not just of history, but in our community today. Now, how do you develop an Afrocentric perspective?
Well, first of all, you start at your origin. An Afrocentric perspective can never start in America. There's nothing that you can do that can be Afrocentric where it starts here. For you to be African-centered means I started at a point to where I had freedom. And there's a difference between freedom and liberty. Liberty gives you the right to be, liberty is where you got to have an amendment to be free, amendment to vote, or a policy that allows you to do things. No one else has to have a policy. White people as a whole don't have to have a policy so they can be free, a policy so they can go and vote one day, a policy. You still got laws on the books in certain places where white people and black people can't still be married. What they do is they just suppress the law. They don't enforce that law. It's a lot of things that's going on, and a lot of things that I pulled up. Just some of the stuff that Unseen and I will pull up, but I don't want to show them long because these are people and they got families. And it was one in particular that I was looking for that I've shown many times that has no facial expression, and it's a young brother that was burned. And the reason I was saying that is because so many brothers were burned alive. And normally we were castrated before you burn us. The question is, once again, what manner of man? What did you have to do to someone for them to go looking for you, to cut your penis and testicles off and burn you and let children out of school to see that? And now you're still being able to see the same things every 28 hours. I'm suggesting in Black Gangster, y'all, message to the gangster, that the gangsters are still here. The same ones that came and got you. And then what you do when you become African-centered is you understand who you are, whose you are, and what you got to do to protect your own.
And that's the message to the black gangster, man. Understanding who you are is basically the freedom and the real liberation that you need to be able to move in purpose and serve yourself through that G, right? Yeah. So if you got the G and you destroying yourself with the G, then your gangster is out of place, right? And
Brother
so,
Fields. That's Fields.
Brother Kamal Fields.
Yeah, what's up, Fields?
Big up, brother. He said, Brother Kamal Fields said, we must learn to think with our own minds, right? Self-reliance is the highest science. And understanding what self-reliance, okay, first let's define intelligence. Let's do this for a minute. Intelligence is not how much information you have, the ability to recite it, and the ability to get a good grade or to serve get a degree based on a test or based on somebody else's judgment of how smart you are. And that's anybody. Black, white, don't matter what that is. Intelligence is the ability for man to be in harmony with his surroundings and be balanced with what sustains his life. So if you look at all the degrees and all the information for 500 to 600 years that's been available to this man, or available to the powers that be from us, let's get it twisted. And you look at that right now and you see that the water is dirty, the air is dirty. It's the highest incarcerated. We got the highest incarceration. Well, they have the highest incarceration rate in the so-called free world. You have the most rape, the most maim, the most murder. They show you genocide on other continents, so-called third world continents, who, if these people were left alone and not exploited through colonialism, neo-colonialism, through technological colonialism, which is happening in Africa right now by the Chinese. If we were left alone, we have the ability to be in harmony with that we've always been in harmony with, which is nature, which is intelligence. Because what sustains your life, you always seek to understand and be in harmony with it. But this man comes up with something called technology and puts it out as what's known as artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence?
Not real. Artificial is not real.
Period.
Artificial is something other than the original.
So intelligence is
wow, then, okay.
Exactly.
Let's look at it like that.
That intelligence. That means that from within and in harmony with your essence comes without. That's intelligent. And so Kamal Fields said, think with our own minds and self-reliance is a science. Yes, it is. Big ups to my man, brother David at the Boys and Men's Conference. He talked to young people that you are mathematics. When you go to sleep, the blood and everything running through your body, the chemicals, the oxygen, that is chemistry. When you breathe and you take in air and the things that you do, when you take in that oxygen, that's a chemical. So you are chemistry. You are biology. When man reproduces man, so you don't have to go take tests for these things. Only thing you need to do is study you. Somebody took nature, took what you invented or took what you put out, took it, repackaged it, and sold it back to you in a glamorified way, and then make you take a test for your own self-knowledge to prove to them that you're intelligent enough to be in an existence in the society or so-called civilization that they built. Well, if the water is dirty, the air is dirty, the food is dirty, it's not intelligent for us to continue to try to be a part of that. And if we want to reclaim the G or redefine the G, then we will recapture. It's only two laws, that governs the universe and that governs humanity. Those are the only sets of laws that truly exist. In civilizations, so-called like this one, those are rules to protect those who created it. When we want to be intelligent, we reclaim our humanity, take that humanity, protect it against inhumanity in artificial intelligence. And then we got something.
Well, hey, you all, first of all, I want to thank you all. This is the start. I guess y'all started last week, and guess when Unseen was there in Buffalo. Once again, thank you all for the hospitality that you all showed Unseen in Buffalo. He lectured at the Boys and Men Conference. You got a chance to interview Joe Mo, Cadilla Latif, Louis Flames, several other people. I don't know who all he got. Obviously, him and my man and Just C's was on that trip and had a good. I was falling all over the floor laughing. I was in the car. And then I came home to the house and continued to watch you guys.
What you feel. Yeah, that was funny. Shanika Smith,
what's up, sister? And don't forget that the women are invited as well.
Yeah, Khalil. Yeah, don't forget that the women are invited as well.
But hey, you all, I want you to check out our network. We're doing due diligence for our network. On that network will be Amin Rashid and the Griot Nation, which is the show that he and I have started years ago.
6 years, 7 years running.
Yeah, we're leading up to 7 years right now. Not to mention the Brother to Brother show. The Good Advice show. The other one, Trouble, I forget the name.
Trouble on Air.
Trouble on Air.
And the Barbell. We got a sports show coming out. Everything that we deal with entertainment, we want to take back our own perspectives on what we look at,
right?
And what we see.
And we want to send this to the Griot Nation Network so you have a centralized location. And if you send your friends over there, you can be other places too. But the one centralized place that I want you to be able to go at any given time during the day, we'll have a scheduling. And Sister Muhammad too, we should have her show on as well. She's been threatening to get us up there. She's moved from California now to Toronto. So we like, and any other you all have some good shows out there. We don't want garbage shows. We want a good network. And on the network, you ain't got to believe everything that we believe, but you can't be counterproductive to what we believe. That don't make sense to the network. Right. But in order for us to network, that means we got to be connecting together. Unique shows, unique ideas,
Thank you, 93.7 WBLK, Hot 99 Warren, Radio Phoenix, all the people who've been supportive of us as we've gone forward. Beyond that, too, one other thing, black exploitation, somebody hit me up and asked me about that. We came up with black exploitation, not whites. That was terminology that we used. Right. And I think it was the NAACP that coined the phrase. I would imagine, had you not titled these, then the perspective of these would have been totally different.
Right.
You said it's black exploitation like it was an artificial idea of power that couldn't really rival the real man, if you would.
Right. But what's funny about that, we always, like the word nigga, we always reframe the shit the things they put on us and try to make it serve us. So black exploitation, we always look for something to identify how we get down and how we get in, right? However, we have to free ourselves from our own criminal thinking. And what I mean by criminal thinking, I don't mean criminal like you see this man do, because we truly do love each other. But the criminal thinking we have to free ourselves from is the willingness to take an artificial form of manhood. And we can name 6 or 7 of them right now.
Pimp, player, baller, hustler, thug, and we just going on.
Gangster. Message to the Black G. We need to reframe how we identify ourselves. Quit being criminal to our own selves. Quit taking on artificial intelligence and then seeking to lead young people by these artificial identifications of manhood. That's criminal. Mislead. Yeah. That's criminal. That is criminal. So we must first free ourselves from this criminal behavior, and then in doing so, after that, begin to be honest and have real conversations about things that happen to us. Because we socialize as men not to talk to each other about the trauma that happened to us. And so to the sister, Miss Walker, back at you, Melanin Queen, Shaniqua Smith. She
said something else, Shaniqua, that was kind of deep, and I didn't get a chance to read Shaniqua. But she was talking about on the next show. We were talking about what was that? The next show was your first black president. Okay.
Yeah, and so Keisha Smith, big.
Yeah, because the one that we think was the first one didn't do a damn thing.
Absolutely, and that's absolutely.
And that don't matter. I mean, I get that, sister. We'll look that up too. But I'll say this as I said to others. I don't have to be so excited about the first black president in the country who didn't even want to recognize us as the people. We got black pharaohs, we got black kings that existed before the people who tried to be imposters to us was even on the planet. We rule nations. That's how old we are. So this is just a glitch in our history that you see right now, where it appears that we're being counterproductive and getting into it with each other. This too shall pass.
Absolutely.
Understand that, you all.
Humanity is going through a mass shift in consciousness. And if you look at it from a humanitarian or from a humanity standpoint, then you always look at yourself first, because we were the first humans, if you will.
And check this out. What Unseen just said, we didn't get arrogant. That's heavy. That shows our spirituality. These other folks here was the last people on the planet, and they masquerading as God. And we were the first ones on the planet. We ain't never said we was better than nobody.
That's absolutely right. Because we used who we were. The lion is the spokesperson for the jungle. He didn't try to rule over people. He's not the king. In our society, spoke for the people, answered to a council of elders.
That's right.
So he never ruled over the people. All these different things, even when we express them in hip hop and how we get down and we the king, it always means that we better than someone. That's not what real kings do. Real kings like to bring everybody to the point of divinity, because they may see it first. They may be able to articulate it first, but their whole goal and mission is to make sure that all divine people recognize themselves as such. That's what real kings, that's what real G's do.
And also, too, y'all, generally the first ruler has 12 inches on it. And then when you start talking about rulers, a ruler ain't somebody who beats you down. The rule is to build. Make sure you got that. Y'all got it all upside down.
Absolutely. And to the sister, Miss Harris, she made a great point. There is a massive growth of consciousness in the black community.
Yeah.
If you don't see that, you're not watching.
You're right, sister.
Because that is absolutely accurate. I talked about that last week. If you look closely, when the brother asked me about hip-hop, if you look at what took place in the 60s, the reason why COINTELPRO and all these things came out, because of the civil unrest or the awakening of consciousness in black people and their ability to mobilize other people who also were being oppressed. Because we always headed this fight because we had the most to gain and the most to lose from not doing it. So with that being the case, there is a mass shift of consciousness in the black community. This is why Jeff Sessions, I think that's my man name that became the Attorney General. If I jerk his name up, then we know who he is. He's coming back with these sentencing laws. Not to mention he's invested in black prisons. And so not black prisons, but prisons. Yeah. And so he has a financial gain, a business gain, but he also understands that right now Black Lives Matter had a lot to do with it. Whether we want to accept it, believe it, or understand the roots or origins of it or not, we have to understand. When you say destroy negativity, we have to destroy our thinking about what it is that we look at. Black Lives Matter, though we may not have agreed with it, we have to take the positive of what came from it, not only just the positive, but we have to take the perspective that it was good for our people regardless, and understand how that is. Because there's a positive and negative to everything. And so with that being the case, there's a mass shift in consciousness right now, and they understand that. And negativity has an end. Positivity, there's no such thing as good karma. Because good just is. Yeah. Positivity just is.
And karma just is.
And karma but if you do something against nature, then there's an automatic resistance from nature. You call that karma. But really, that's you resisting the natural flow of the power of Mother Nature, Father Time, and all our other great gods and goddesses and masters of the universe. So it's not that what you see right now, we have to be worried about fighting an enemy. We have to empower the divinity within us, and that's stronger than any enemy that can come against us. So when we stood up and said Black Lives Matter, there was a direct, and when you see your children dying in the street, there's a direct signal sent to you in self-preservation that wakes you up from the inside. And as it continues, as they increase, that's going to not cause more fear. It's going to cause more courage within us to stand up. They know that. They're prepared for that. But guess what? Nature already has its built-in reward. It already has its built-in result. We're transient in this lifetime. We already passed this stage already. All you have to do is be able to pay attention to it. And when that happens, you're justified in protecting that because nature bags you up. There are two laws: govern humanity and govern the universe. And when you're in harmony with them, can't nobody do nothing about it. I don't care how many guns and how many people they show you killing. It don't make no difference. Divinity will always shine through.
I started saying, man,
Nelly Nails, you back with us, baby. Appreciate the love. Black Lives Matter, but black brothers, so we can use Black Lives Matter when brothers take black lives. We can't use it. Oh, that's deep. When brothers take black lives, let me read that statement again. But brothers take black lives, so we can use Black Lives Matter when brothers take black lives. Look, check this out. When you see a black person kill another black person, let's make sure this is clear.
Yeah, that's suicide.
That's suicide. That's not a homicide. When you destroy yourself, that's suicide. But guess what? You're not witnessing black people. You haven't seen black people in a very long time. You see that in bits and pieces in consciousness as we are awakening back to
the minds of other people.
You are seeing white trauma imposed upon black people that's being imposed upon other black people. Make sure you differentiate. Go back in history and understand when this particular trauma came in. Separate yourself from that. Take that out of your perspective as something that we're doing and understand the condition that was imposed upon us so you can change us for who we really are. Don't ever look at it as though black folks are killing black folks. Man, we ain't been black in a long time, not because it don't exist in us and because some of us don't have the identity of it. It's just that because we are a xenophilic people under xenophobic fear and oppression, our mind states have adapted, and you see us committing crimes or what you think is a crime on each other. But really all we doing, because we the greatest people on the planet, like Ross said, sometimes through sex and drugs, you see us coping.
Yeah.
And that's really what you see. Because we don't have the power to kill the man that imposed it upon us. So in proximity, we kill the man that's closest to us. Yeah. Everybody does that, not just us.
Everybody.
So when you say the word black, make sure you can identify for what it really is and not the oppressed man.
And then also too, y'all, to people in Shreveport, my condolences to the people that have been losing their lives in Shreveport.
No question, man.
And you're talking about kids as young as 17 and up to 21. Those are still kids. I say when you're 17 and 21, you are still a kid. And for all intents and purposes, based on the developmental state of mind of most brothers unseen, generally when you're 31, you're still a kid.
Absolutely.
We have not matured.
Age don't have nothing to do with it.
We have not. Yeah. And look, y'all, every time you see us here, I definitely want you to hit us up at reclaimingthevillage.org. Get our support. Once again, the Griot Nation Network is a network. Our shows are part of the activities by which we make you aware. You can't make any moves until you're aware. As long as you stay in a state of denial, nothing will change. You accept your reality, and the way you accept it is by getting information. And then you can move forward, you can execute. Hit us up at Brother to Brothers on Wednesday now with a new time at 8 o'clock. What time is the Good Advice show come on?
Good Advice, 8 p.m. on Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay,
on the Griot Nation Network via Black Western New York broadcast.
And here's the other thing. So that means that you're going to catch us on Monday night with the Good Advice show.
PG-13, what's up, brother?
You're going to catch us on Sundays with Griot Nation. I'm Rashid and Griot Nation. You're going to catch us on Wednesday with Brother to Brother. And then before long, you're going to catch us on something else. So if you got some shows out there, we are one family, one network, absolutely, one movement, and one motion. If absolutely, we become separated, we have already lost. When you see the Griot Nation head, it is the network that carries us. So after I'm gone, after he gone, all the ideas that we discuss continue on. We got to continue to promote this, you all. In the killing season, you all, unfortunately, and we kind of coined the phrase ourselves going back and forth to Shreveport, we call it Summer Madness. Thursday through Sunday between 11 o'clock and 3 o'clock, most of us die. And unfortunately, that has not changed. So Unseen and I now about to make a move down to Shreveport
to deal with the escalating murders that are taking place. And only what makes you feel is if you know the power of humanity and you know the power of divinity. It ain't that we got guns and bulletproof vests, but we go into neighborhoods where you see guns and bulletproof vests because that's out of fear, right? So out of fear, you pick up weapons that try to destroy the body of another individual, but you don't do nothing to destroy the mind state and the spirituality that created that individual and that creates the condition in which you both are killing each other in. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about just black people. We need to get that straight. As a matter of fact, Nelly Nails just put something out, understanding, trying to, make us aware of the counterattack, better known as All Lives Matter. Let's deal with that.
Where are they now?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. What the hell is All Lives Matter? We start out with Black Lives.
And so Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. Let's deal with All Lives Matter real quick. Let's look at it like this. Pop Rob enlightened me to something that was very profound when he was talking about what took place with sisters and women in this society as a whole. Anytime you hear this society talking about how they need to protect women, you need to think about that for a minute. How has he treated women? How has he treated humanity as a whole? So when you hear All Lives Matter, how can that come from a man who oppressed, murdered, maimed, raped? Think about the person that's saying to you All Lives Matter. You think about the individual that looks like you that's saying that because they're trying to they don't want to face the energy, that power that comes from looking at themselves in the mirror and doing something about who they are. It's too much pain associated with it. It's too much money standing to be lost. It's the fear of what may happen to you allows you to come up with that statement. It's just fear, y'all. Man, that's All Lives Matter. That's the essence of it. It's trying to counterattack. That's like calling you a reverse racist. Now you think about that for a minute. These are the things that are put in place to make sure you don't look at yourself. And check this out. Black Lives Matter means that we had to be responsible for black people. Not that we had to be responsible for stopping other people from doing things to black people, but it meant that we had to be responsible for ourselves. That's the essence of what Black Lives Matter was about. But we looked at people like what was my boy named linebacker that used to play for the Ravens, Ray Lewis. Black folks need to stop killing black folks. Quit identifying white behavior that black folks do as black folks.
Thank you.
Identify black folks, understand where the behavior came in at, separate the two, bring about some understanding, so therefore you can quit talking and you can get out and move because you're not afraid no more. You see you see the power, you see the value in what you're looking at and not the behavior of the individual. Like we already know. How can you change and bring about a healing from trauma if you're only looking at the behavior that was imposed upon the person that they're acting out because of the trauma? Mm-hmm. You can't do it. In other words, all you're doing is adding to it. So we know there's some work that must be done. That's what Black Lives Matter. All Lives Matter seeks to neutralize Black Lives Matter by having an oppressive, dictating, global, murderous regime try to tell you that all lives matter. They ain't never gave a damn about nobody besides themselves. Right. So don't be tricked in that regard.
Yeah, but if they thought all lives matter, they wouldn't have came over here and made you 3/5 of a human. They wouldn't have constantly beat, murder, and rape you and maim you under the guise of the terminology that they call slavery. So anyway,
James Muhammad, what's up, bro?
What's happening, brother James Muhammad? Brother, you always on post, brother. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the love, man.
All you brothers, man, particularly
in the perfect manner, bro.
Yeah, the Nation of Islam. The one thing that comes out of that, man, when you start looking at legacy, is not all is what I call protocol and respect. You know, at least following a protocol, order. More important than one man's life, we always say is order. I got the same way I got for you. I say A, B, C, D, F, G means something. You know, otherwise it'd be just a letter. Because you know you got to put those things together.
And down is the alphabet.
Now it's the alphabet.
And then just 26 letters on the board.
So that's what we got to do. The information that you got, and we got shows you all back. I seen I was talking about this. At least about 100 of our shows that we did. And thank you to Notre Rose for this. Everything that we put, any intro to the song,
what's up, bro?
It was on there.
Appreciate
and the image is there. We need to keep that history, and then we can come back and look at that behavior 4 years ago compared to this behavior now. We got to do some longitudinal studies and some studies ourselves on behavior patterns. We wait until they say something. We're counter fighters. We're counter livers. That ain't how you live, by counter punching.
No,
you can't live that way.
That's difficult in the heavyweight. In the heavyweight division.
Yeah, you can't do that, and that's kind of what we have to stop doing. That's why you got to have your own network to have your own narrative.
Right.
And that's what we are. And thank y'all again. Let people know you all on Sunday nights. This is what we're going to be doing. You know, Griot Nation Live. Thank all the brothers, Brother Khalil.
Everybody that held on through the technical difficulties. It was hard starting out, man. You know, we kept getting static. We didn't know where it was coming from. So we basically, came off the mic. Brother Minister Kevin Johnson, appreciate the love. Griot Nation Radio, Captain Dennis, man, much
Kevin
love.
Johnson,
Appreciate everybody holding on, man, through the difficulties, man. So, brother.
Well, look, you all, reclaimingthevillage.org, one of the ways that you can support us. If we at least got you all at least about, I'm looking for 50 people, y'all, to do $50 a month. And so we can start this thing out and at least have a couple projects that become self-sustaining. And we're going to need that. And I believe that the more we continue to do this, the more you'll come on board, the more you'll see us, you realize these guys aren't just talking. They're actually subject matter experts. They actually offer technical assistance. They can actually come out to where you are. We've written several cornerstone programs such as school-based social intervention. CMO is social intervention multimedia outlet. So we meet you wherever you are. My gangbangers ain't just banging on the street. They cyber banging too. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So same thing you do on the streets is the same thing. Anything that you can do in virtuality right now, in reality, you do it virtually.
Right. James Muhammad, man, said proactive, not reactive. That's very important.
Yeah.
However, if we define what proactive means, that means you have to have a pro stance on something that you're activating or going into motion to produce. What is the pro stance for black people? What is the pro stance for what's the foundation that we're being active on that we could operate in so we don't have to react? In other words, somebody gives us a title, like they murdering us every 28 hours, and then we react to that. Brother Captain Dennis has something that's very proactive, and we know what that is, right? That's called the peacekeepers. Right. And but the brother said first you got to make the peace before you can keep the peace. Like Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, the people that don't respect themselves will not protect themselves. So our proactive stance is to make sure that to my girl, Miss Harris, we appreciate the love, the donation, man. Had to do that quick, man. We like to give love to people more than anything, to the people that make sure that they hold us down, man.
Take care of us.
No doubt.
Let the church say amen. No, let the church say Shay.
Yeah. She said keep working for us.
Where's our Black Liberation
with us, man.
What's the name of our Black Liberation pastor we're going to be bringing on to the show?
Oh, y'all hold on. We got a Black Liberation pastor. It's going to be church on the Griot Nation.
Yeah,
the brother going to be gospel. No doubt. So if we're going to be proactive, what's our proactive base that we activate, that we can stay proactive on? And they say, on that straight and narrow, so that when somebody comes against us, our path is laid out in front of us, and so we won't go off and get caught up with trying to fight that enemy. And nobody's still on the path of developing and building for us. Big up to the Nation of Islam. We know how long they have been building and staying on the path. 80 plus years, even longer than that. So with that being said, man, we have to understand what proactive and reactive is really about, and we have to stick to our actual plan. This is the platform. This is what we call black media, right? That means media from a black perspective. But when you understand what black is, that definition,
right?
That knowledge, like the brother said, it can be no light. There can be no power without light. But how do you take light? How do you perform photosynthesis? The ability to take light and turn it into food, turn it into energy, not just knowledge. How do we do that? Melanin takes the sun, like the plants, right? We know that, we call it melanin, but Dr. Sebi told us it's carbon. We understand that also. That takes the sun, takes that light and turns it into food in the body. And plants is called photosynthesis. Wow. And so when we take that and go into action, we illuminate, we glow. Anytime you raising young people, anytime you dealing with another person, make sure you understand this. I don't care how hard you are. I don't care how dedicated you are, how focused you are, how much knowledge you have. If you do it and you're not showing life, love, liberation, happiness, and joy, then they're not going to want to accept that. Who wants to get food from a person that's frowning when they give it to them? Make sure that it's working for you. You're loving life, man. You're enjoying life.
You cooking and cussing.
Yeah. You cooking and cussing at the same time. I realize it's hard, man, but that's why you build your homes. Your nation looks like your home. Your home looks like your nation. You make sure that in your home, your queen and your children, they produce that light and love that you need. So when you step out, you step out with a smile so people want them to have the knowledge. You know, being vegan, man, is very difficult, right? And not difficult. This world makes it difficult. But if I tell people about it and I'm always frowning, but I think it's good for them, they're not going to believe me, right? So I don't want to be telling them that. But I'm just saying, if you have some information for somebody, make sure that it's working miracles on you, the inner you, before you deliver it. Now I ain't saying shuck and jive and laugh for the way like some of our entertainers do. I ain't saying coon it to them because then we get caught up in the shining. We want to make sure that we're serious, but we're happy at the same time. So people will want to receive the information. The seriousness is to brace them and let them know you love them and you're passionate about what it is that you're talking about. And the smile, and that smile, that lovely smile that you have, lets them know that, like the Christians say, God is good. And you being that individual and them being that individual, you really talking to them when you say that and looking at a reflection of yourself in the process.
Hey, y'all, find out we're going to be at the Allure. Well, I don't know what the actual address of the Allure cigar bar that's in
DeSoto, Texas.
DeSoto, Texas.
Yeah, we'll look that address up right quick.
Somebody said and put it up there right away. I see PG is up there. As Dr. Omar, I think you're going to be there too. And the sister that I think you were on the show with her is going to be there. PG know the name. I don't know everybody's name. But I want to just say big ups to everybody and thank you. And let's continue to grow our platforms together. That's how we can go. I mean, if you got 5 different folks on 5 different networks and all 5 of them got 5,000 people, then we got 25,000 on the network. But if you only got 5 and you got your 5, you got your 5, we just got 5 different. Everybody got 5,000 people, which means we ain't got no people.
Ain't got nothing.
But if we bring them all together, that means we can maximize. And we need to be able to pick up a phone and that is Allure Jazz and Cigar Bar Lounge.
Google that.
Yeah, Allure Jazz and Cigar Bar Lounge, you all.
Big up to my man Andre Willis. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Brandon Everett. God is good all the time is what the brother said. And if you know who God is, that means that you will be talking about yourself.
Yeah, Jesus is already back, by the way. Jesus is already here. He walked around and revealed and known by many names. Because if he came back and Jesus, you'd have killed him right away. Y'all know what time it is.
No doubt.
It is Sunday night, so I'm throwing it. It is at
110 South Cockrell Hill Road, Suite A. 110 South Cockrell Hill Road, Suite A. In Dallas, Texas, for all those who want to know where Brother the Brother has gone, is gone to the Cigar Bar Allure in Duncanville.
DeSoto.
DeSoto. At the border, actually. 110 South Cockrell Hill Road, Suite A. Come join us on, on Wednesday nights.
What's that? Tory Cage,
Divine, Gino Salter Peace. Appreciate the love.
Hey, also, too, you all, we're going to be talking about relationships, so ladies, come on out.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Ladies and brothers, We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about the difference between a connection and a relationship. We know a connection is a short-term association based on 2 folks' bodies. We all trying to connect. Relationship is a long-term association based on 2 people's happiness.
Yeah. I like to connect too, though. But check this out.
Everybody relationship got to connect.
Alpha Wolf Records is salute y'all. She hollering at us. Venus Rose.
Who's that right there?
Alpha Wolf Records.
Hit us up.
Hit us up, man. Any artist you got, anybody you got holding it down, just you need to make sure they get to the people. Make sure you holler at us.
Oh, why am I tired of starting over? Is that going to be the topic of it?
Yep.
We talking about relationship between men and women. I'm about to start over too. I guess I'm not really actually start. Look, anytime you leave one thing and you begin again, I guess you can call that starting over.
I'm tired of starting over.
So you know what I'm saying? But also I know too, when you're driving down the road and you miss one exit, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep on driving, hit another another exit, then come over the overpass, come all the way back. So we don't want to miss our exit. So you might have some options when you come out there.
No doubt. And starting over is relative, right?
Yeah.
Because if you learn something and and you positive about your experience, hey man, I find myself in my new experiences. We don't want to tip the hat too much and get into the topic. How I find myself in my new experiences being so grateful, right? So grateful that in the new experience I'm treating her, better than I ever have because you went through hell and just to be able to deal with the person. But check this out, Tori Cage, which is the match coach, right? Tori Cage is a match coach. She'll be live from Brother to Brother with us on Wednesday night, Cigar Bar and Lounge.
And I saw you, Tori
110 South
Tori, good draw. She's
a DeSoto, Texas. It's going to be live. So even if you're not in the building physically, you check us out just like this, man.
Yeah, and Tori's eye candy. She's a pretty lady. I saw an image of her. And come on out. And I say that too, and I don't have no problem with saying that. If we can't appreciate beautiful women, man, something is slapped wrong with us. And a lot of the heterosexual brothers, the homosexuals came out the closet, and the heterosexual brothers went in and come out the closet, brothers. Let's keep on matchmaking and getting together with our sisters and make some things happen, y'all. Come on.
PG-13 said the beautiful Tori Cage. So Tori Cage, he wanted you to know. That he wanted us to know. That he wanted us to let everybody know. You are the beautiful Tori Cage. Match coach.
You said cage? Like put you in a cage?
No. See, that was like put you in the cage, but not cheat.
So we already playing with you already.
So anyway, y'all come on out, man. Brother to Brother, 110 South Cockery Hill, Allure Cigar Bar and Lounge, DeSoto, Texas, man. Come and get it. Log on live that night. Wednesday night, Griot Nation Radio. Check out the live feed, man.
We're going to kick it off at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m., man. We're going to be live. And we had technical difficulties tonight. We're going to get on early and make sure that we show some love. And that Wednesday night is 8 p.m. Central and 9 p.m. Eastern. But
we check us out. Good time here, here.
Yeah, but we came on. We stand on a little later because we had difficulties in the beginning. So you see us going a little longer. As long as y'all sending us questions and comments, we're going to keep showing it out, man. She said, peace to the sister, Tori Cage. That's from Sherelle Harris, and that's the sister. And she said, peace to the sister, Tori Cage. So that's
come on out there, you all. We want to do that. And once again, get a chance to go to Griot Nation Network. We will continue to be growing. Our goal is to have a Griot Nation Network, Griot Nation Radio, you all. Is Unseen Now, once again, the show found its origin dealing with Amin Rashid and the Griot Nation. Griot Nation is our flagship. Everything that we have emanates from it. So we want to all be able to have our hand in there because we may have been the seed, but everything is the root and as the branch. So we want to expand that. We want you to be able to go at any given time during the day, hit our network up, find out when our different shows are coming on, invite your people to that. So this one big portal is the place that you go to. And after a while, we'll have that network. You'll expect to see us at different remotes all the time. And you won't even know the difference if you see the Good Advice show, you see Brother to Brother show, you see I'm Rashid the Griot Nation, you see Dr. Mama, you're going to see yourself and you're going to see us.
No doubt.
That's unity.
Network.
We're going to be the example.
WNYBroadcast.com.
Juneteenth Buffalo.
Juneteenth Buffalo. Y'all make sure y'all log on, man.
Happy to say I made my that Brother Dennis Muhammad.
Made a $50 donation, man. Appreciate the love, man. I cannot tell you, Brother Captain Dennis, man. This brother don't waste no time. Brother say, amen. Y'all hear that?
Amen.
Hey, man, let the church say.
Let the church say amen. Unseen said something to you a long time ago, and I want y'all to understand that too. That we come in all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Absolutely.
And when you say you're conscious, that don't necessarily mean that you're Christian, that you're Muslim, that you're African-centered, that you're all the above. It means you are consciously aware that you can move forward and change and affect your life, and you respect your culture at its origin. You ain't got to think exactly like the other brother thinks. We need everybody, Republican, Democrats, them that don't, whatever you are. Because our enemy takes you the way you are, and makes you whatever they need you to be for them. Come on into the village. Believe me and this man can talk to you. I don't care where your mind is. I promise you that.
Because we love it, man. They said that the show wouldn't
They gave us 30 days.
They gave us 30 days because when we came on trying to love people, man. We didn't come on, trying to entertain
our content was too deep now. Even though people come, we need more content. Yeah, they were telling us, brother, we need to run y'all reruns. That's a little too heavy, brother. We didn't get what y'all said last week. So we fell back on a few things. But let's say this, you all. Thank you all to our community listeners. We hanging in here a little bit longer because it seems like we doing it. Y'all sending in some double shit.
Yeah, brother.
Do a marathon.
Brother Captain Dennis said
thank you, Captain Dennis.
He's gonna be doing $50 every month, man. We appreciate it, man.
You know what, you all? And I'm gonna call that then. Hey, y'all, let's do the Captain Dennis play.
And he gonna be in Buffalo Juneteenth too, man. Brother Captain Dennis. So
let's call it that though.
Yeah.
That the pledge for someone who comes and commits every month. It's going to be the Captain Dennis Pledge. We're going to name it after that brother. Right. The Captain Dennis Pledge. That means, so we get 50 people at $50 a Captain Dennis Pledge. That means we got that $2,500 to keep us doing this particular segment. Baby Captain Dennis, thank you so much. We're going to start naming. That's what people do. They name buildings and everything after the people who assist them that's going along.
Absolutely.
And first, I'm going to say this about you, Captain Dennis.
That's a G.
I admire you as a G.
Redefining the G.
Same page.
Redefining the G. Message to the black gangster. Message to everybody. If you want to know the example of a G, make sure you look at Brother Captain Dennis.
We have more reasons to unite.
We have more reasons to unite than excuses not to.
Oh, I like that.
That's
I
very,
like that,
very
Brother
serious,
James
man. Hey, put that up on the website. Every time you talk to yourself about what you think about black folks and all that, make sure you understand that. We got more reasons to unite.
Captain Dennis Pledge, I'm telling you. Can anyone, I'm going to say this again, I'm liking it already. Can you take the Captain Dennis Pledge? That's a pledge of $50 every month, young ladies and young men, to make sure that we maintain life, love, and liberation on our own platform, which is the Griot Network, of which Griot Nation Radio is on that network. So that's right. So we're gonna have y'all going to the Griot Nation Network, and we want to build it. I need about 40,000 people coming over there about once a month get started, man. That's what we need to get done.
And the thing about it, man, is people that are dedicated to what we do, are dedicated to themselves. So all the energy that you put in, you get back out, man. You're gonna see us on the grind. There ain't gonna never be a question about what we about and how we get down. So I mean, at the end of the day, you free, to ask any questions. Matter of fact, tonight we wanted to take questions. We took quite a few last time we went live, and so and to my man PG, I want to say this too.
PG is also taking the Captain Dennis Pledge. So we got two brothers. This is what I want to start doing. I want to start putting down names on a banner that you can see, that you ain't got to have the big corporation name. Instead of having 5 corporations name, you might have 5,000 young brothers name. What difference do it make if it's carrying you the way you need to go and you have no needs based on your family taking care of you? Because we know we feel good with taking care of our family. It takes research, it takes time, it takes commitment to do what we are doing. Microphones ain't free. All this different stuff you see coming in new is not free.
That's right.
And believe me, the services, the time it took for me to learn this, I don't get paid for these services. I should, but we don't. But we're going to work until we get there to where we can do so. So look, you all, hit us up, y'all, reclaimingthevillage.org, reclaimingthevillage.com, and take the Captain Dennis Pledge. I love it already. We already know PG-13 has done it. We know Captain Dennis has done it because it's his namesake. Give me somebody else so we can start putting these names up.
PG, to all that you've done, bro. Big ups, man. I can't say enough. You know what I mean? I know you don't see me a lot, hence the name. You work hard with that, man, Rob, but hey, man, I got a lot of respect, a lot of love for what you do, man. For those that don't know, PG-13, when I first met the brother, his name is Pearly Gates, which is dope in and of itself. You know what I mean? But we went with PG-13 because in order to get into the Pearly Gates, you got to be an adult. So we hit it with PG-13. And when the brother hit that falsetto,
I like how you break it down. Y'all ain't heard that Negro sing yet.
You heard him sing. You understand why you got the name.
You ain't know nothing about it to sing
Pearly Gates. Yeah. Don't let him sing around your girl. That's all I said. I had to turn it off a couple of times. But at the end of the day, the brother very dedicated to what we've been doing, man. Very dedicated to himself. Haven't seen anything he's not down with that's related to the liberation of our people. Nation of Islam, Buffalo. Walaikum salam. They just big shout out. Assalamu alaikum, man. Great. Hey, man, check this out, man. Check this out. We got 1.7 million listeners, right?
5 listeners. 2 more just came last week.
And what's deep about that? I think my man, what's my man name that we like? The cold rapper don't never do no music, but he nasty.
Slim guy, Puerto Rican.
I always forget his name. End up marrying.
Locksmith?
No, end up marrying the. Not getting with the one of the. Anyway, check this out. The brother said he does not have fans. He has family, right?
Okay, then we got a question, right? He said the same thing with us. We got family. So 1.6 million listeners, but who's a real family? You know that when you get out in the streets and you see these brothers next to you, shoulder to shoulder, taking care of business. And it's not that the rest of y'all are not family. It's just that sometimes some families closer than others. And we will keep it moving. We don't judge anybody. We understand that love is love and it's universal. However, at the end of the day, when it's time to do the heavy lifting, that's when you find out who in the trenches with you. And we love all of y'all, especially in the trenches, man.
Yeah.
It don't get no better than that, because once you get up with that mud on you, done smeared it all on you, created the camouflage that got you through that battle and everything that you did, man, it's a feeling that comes along with that cannot be replaced. And we as a people, we've been doing it ever since the first invasion, and we shall continue to do it. That's why we call it the Griot Nation, because what we get on the other end, how are we rewarded? With life, love, and liberation.
What's that right there?
Brandon Everett got a question. He said, why don't younger brothers listen? I think that's the question.
Well, that may be an oversimplification to say that they don't, because I've had thousands that have. I've had many children or young brothers I work with who I've had to engage and give advice that changed their life, almost overnight. Sometimes it may have been losing sometimes that brother may have been in love. You'd be amazed at how many brothers who have let me just call it fall in love. It doesn't seem natural to a lot of brothers because we think that's so hard, but they do. A lot of brothers that'll get a girl pregnant, for those who claim their brothers don't care about their babies. Look, and then, the amount of brothers that I met too that are single fathers that go to support groups to be better fathers. When I went up in that session, that blew my mind, and my perspective of black men totally changed, because someone else is writing the narrative. And that idea that young people don't listen to old people, you got that from somewhere else. Stop trying to get young people to talk to you. Young people are the ones that's killing young people. Are you understanding that? Why do you believe that? Are they listening to Mr. Farrakhan? Are they listening to Azra Quays? I know they're listening to me. And is everybody going to listen? No, not everybody going to listen. Sometimes your wife don't listen. Sometimes your children don't listen. So, but thank you for the question. But I do believe that more listen that don't listen. 90% of a group follow, only 2% lead. The idea is for us to be considered as a part of whatever the new stereotype is or whatever the new profile is. Let's change the stereotype and let's change the profile. That's what we're doing on the Griot Nation Network. And hey, and if we need to get some young brothers with some shows too. Yeah. Love to get some guys on some shows.
That's a good point. I don't think young people have enough platforms. I would say that, we gave,
unless they acting a fool, that's what I was going to say.
The so-called hip-hop platform or social media where they can air all of what's going on in the streets, get fame without having to work for it. All you got to do is start a fight or do different things like that. So play football, basketball. So it's not. I agree with you. I don't think that young people don't listen. However, you have to do the work, and you have to understand what they listen to.
And remember, they led by example, not advice.
And you got to clean it. You catch the fish before you can clean them. So all the work that must be done to make sure that young people listen. You have to empower other young people to get to those young people also. So it's a process, and we understand the frustration, but I don't share the same view overall, even though I've run into that situation, even with my own children. But that's just a product of development. I bet you remember when you was young, how much you probably didn't listen every now and then. And if not...
You think you know a lot too when you're young, man. You think somebody else too old.
Right. And if you did listen, you are the example.
So, yeah.
And you are the exception and not the rule. Because as a whole, immature people, they don't listen a lot of times. It take a while. Let me say, what is real liberation? We had so many kudos or so many leaders. Still, we are where we are. What is real liberation?
When you commit to a purpose, plan, and process for you, your people, and your future, that's about as simple as I can get it. And what comes along with that many times is not only willing to give your life, but be willing many times to take a life as a part of that process. That don't mean going up and doing to others like they done to you, where people go out hunting one night and go kill a nigga and castrate him. I'm saying you means that you have to, if I'm out with my lady and someone does something unseen, send me something to a brother, I don't know whatever happened to him and I want to find out, but I felt proud. I was sad to see, but they tased his wife and he fought like a man who was going to the pearly gates himself. Like, hey, I'm finna go right now. You just took out my queen as a king. I have to execute these steps. And it don't sound like he was worried about was somebody going to kill him or not, but he was going to let the world see when you do this to my queen, my immediate reaction was. And I'm saying, man, I sat there, and for once, I had pride. I didn't know what happened to him, but thank you for sending that to me.
Right. Real, and that's a good point, man. Real liberation is to be able to answer the call that you felt like you were called to do without hindrance. So, you know, if you get up and you want to see your children taken care of, you want to grow the food, you know, you don't want the outside influence of another man's thinking to come in and distract, destroy, or try to offset you or take you in another direction. Now, everybody in the capitalistic society has the right to try to influence another person via monetary or whatever else you got going on through suffering or whatever the case may be. However, liberation is the right for every individual to seek what they feel like is freedom within them, as long as it's not imposed upon or trying to hurt somebody else. So when you can see your purpose within and you operate in it, that's real liberation. I think when we look at leaders, leaders have to be convinced to see the light in an individual and turn that light back toward them and not toward the leader. And so you get misled when you follow the light of another individual. That light should inspire you to see the light in yourself. In relationships end or change when people cease to see themselves in each other, or they begin to grow separate from each other because they can no longer see themselves in that individual. So when it comes to leadership, even leaders, the great Minister Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, they all have their own personal journey that they're on top of trying to guide other individuals. So the message couldn't have been from them to put a nation on their shoulders if they were not attempting to make that nation independent to be able to carry their own weight. Otherwise, then the self-aggrandizement and the ego of it all would have broke these people down, or broke our so-called leaders down a long time ago. The great leaders that were assassinated and something happened to them, the fear was not that they would lead the people anywhere, but they would wake the people up and they would begin to lead themselves. And that's what's critical about leadership. It's not finding an individual, but finding that one example that empowers each individual to take responsibility for their own divine purpose. Once that happens, because it's divine, you were protected. You want to know why we're not defending ourselves? Because we haven't found divine purpose within to lead us and create the value that's necessary for us to defend against those who have a so-called greater purpose to destroy us. You know, you trying to oppress somebody, you got to do that shit 24/7. You can't sleep, and that's too much energy. You see what I'm saying? You got to stay on top of it. But when the person is divinely guided, you can't oppress them. And so real leadership is when you look within, see that divine energy, free yourself from the oppression, from the so-called judgment of other individuals. Whether or not you can get a job, you have to know you. And once you do that, that's real liberation. Anybody that's not trying to show you that, then even though they may be good intended to do good, they're actually creating a burden for you and themselves. And so you can watch a person's development based on how long it takes them to evolve and making sure that you're free and not looking at them.
Hey, I wanted to say something too about the magazine, Black Western New York Media. Definitely Great Nation.
Black Western New York broadcast, man.
Hey, we are all working together, including the Black Agenda Report. Great Nation is going to be that hub. However, we are that network. I'm stressing that. I'm not confused by none of that. And everything that we do has content. If you take
Will
the name,
Jones.
if you take the names tonight that I mentioned and give the history, the chronology of the different things that were mentioned, we have content. The objective of it is when you be able to hear us, you capture the high points, and that becomes content. And you tie that to the other content that we have. The things that we did last week. Look, I'm doing my homework. Now, I'm not guessing. I don't have to go to everybody in my team now to talk to me about media no more, even though I do. But right now, Griot Nation Network is where we go. Wherever, we got some other shows. We want to get syndication, but we want to push everybody to our network and have that thing popping, you all, and want y'all to come. And then give us input of what you like to see on our network that'll make you go there and stay there. Hey, look, come grow with us. We mean this.
Absolutely.
This is not a game.
When we say our network, we talking about our network.
Yeah.
Not ours, but ours. You see what I'm saying? And so Daphne Blue, appreciate the love.
What's
she
up?
said this is awesome. Awesome. Will Jones asked the question, how can we get more black media to work together?
Doing what we're doing right now by us working together, getting that Griot Nation network up and get everything looking good. You got to just the same way children are led by example, not by advice. Children and grown. Being a child is a stage of adulthood. Everybody's led by example, not advice. Just children in the first stages. So we got to set the example of what two media groups can do together. And we have to have a presence. If we don't have a stage, a place that we go in that we can open up and turn the door, then when we go to our site, the Griot Nation Network, that's where you're going to see things. You should be able to see the Black West New York Network there. We should be able to see Black Agenda Report there. And the other networks that are working along with us. That's the start. And Will, brother, I don't even know you, but you already feel like family. Will Jones.
Will so much
I'm already like Will already.
Will so much family that through my man Khalil, when I got there, man, I was able to stay with Will at his home. You know, him and brother Khalil. So Will is family on the real level.
And so is brother. And what's the odds that I'm gonna meet Khalil and I'm gonna ask Khalil after we done got to know each other for about 6 months, we get to talking. Where your family from? He gonna say Magnolia, Arkansas.
Man.
And I'm from Magnolia. What's the odds?
New York and you in Texas.
What is the odds?
Kathleen Richardson, what's up, man? Shout out from Will Jones. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Good Advice Show. Oh, he doing selfless plugs of his
there, go do it, brother. Do it. That's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do.
Look, I'm there too, so it's all good, man. This is all family, man. And so Black media working together is basically Black media standing up and taking responsibility of making sure that the content that is produced and people see coming from a Black perspective or a perspective that Black folks have and can take stake in and take value in, knowing that there's no trick in it, knowing that there's nothing there to do nothing but benefit Black folks. You already working together if you do that, regardless if you're speaking together or not, or speaking to each other or not. So all you got to do is keep it going, man. And so with that being the case, eventually you see yourself on the same road with that individual anyway if you're doing the same work. Now, this may seem theoretical and philosophical, but I'm telling you, this is what happened. This is how Brother Khalil, doing the work he did for years with Acorn, the Nation of Islam, just being a community, soldier all together, end up meeting this brother. Not because somebody said, hey, man, y'all need to work together, but they seen each other on the same path. You have to know and understand. It's difficult when you focused on an enemy that you think is coming against you, for you to understand how nature really works. Understand that you model your ways after the ant and you stay busy as a bee. In other words, you see what's out there, and then you're able to look at nature and see how these processes and seasons are occurring. You keep your eye on that, and then you can also see the enemy before he makes a move, because 2 comes after 1, 3 comes after 2, 4 comes after 3. If you know the process, then there's no such thing as an enemy. You see what I'm saying? The only enemy that can truly be is an enemy that self-destructs or kills himself. No other man can take you out if you understand who you are and you understand how nature works, because the universe is on your side. The anti-universe man that's doing this thing right now, he about this big. Yeah. But it's difficult for you to understand that because you're looking at him as this big. You see what I'm saying? Because of his propaganda and what he puts out and the things that he does. We have to be dedicated to our own perspectives so we can regain the value of the giants that we truly are. And if you understand what we were before the oppression, that's easy. But if you're stuck on this side, then it's a way for you to understand it also. Look at your babies. Look at your children. Look at everything that we do, man. Everything that we invent, man. It's still stuff being put in the dictionaries that may even come from us talking tonight. Right. It's natural, man, because we in harmony with it. We just focused on, he's causing us to focus on the fact that all he wants to do is snuff us out. And there's 2 types of soldiers, right? So you get on the battlefield and you want to kill the enemy. And there's another soldier that if he does not have to kill but still achieve the goal, he going to keep it moving because he knows it's not about the man that's coming against him. It's about him reaching the finish line. They both work together. Don't get it twisted. They both necessary. But ultimately, you have to find out where you are in that process. And when you do that, again, be proactive. Take that stance, activate it, get out, take that motion, make it happen, man. I'm telling you, man, it's easy when you invest in yourself.
One thing you just said I want y'all to understand is not the man outside, just the man inside you. Not the man outside you, but the man that's inside you. That's going to make the changes. I've been enjoying this. I guess we're going to get ready to shut things down. We're almost at 1,000 folks that's hitting us already. So at least for he and our first night out, man, it looks like things are going really well.
Hey, we need to transform the mind state of our children to one to learn who they are.
Well, that has always been our thing.
Daphne Blue, check this out.
Yeah, thank you, Daphne. I want to say this too. We started out
0 to 8. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, 0 to 8 is called internalization. But before we say that, I want to say that this program started out as the African American Cultural Academy. It didn't start out as jams. It didn't start out working with gangs. You know what I use to work with kids, you all? Black history. I didn't have no program. I didn't have internalization, socialization, experimentation, realization. I just had history, and I knew how it had affected me. And I wanted these young boys to know it, and I wanted them to feel that excitement. And it started to transform Crips, blood, folk, and people with none of those. I didn't do those other things later on.
Wait. Think about what you just said, man. I don't want that to get skipped over. You ever been so happy you just wanted somebody else?
You want to share with them? Yeah, okay.
You ever had something, do something that was so great that you, hey, I've been eating food one time. It was like, man, I can't wait till so-and-so taste it. I wanted them to have the same feeling.
Yeah.
Words,
that's love.
Actions, dress codes, whatever you do, all you doing is transferring energy and vibrations like a tuning fork to the next individual. You'll be amazed of how many lives you transform when you elevate your vibration of life. That's why, hey man, we talk about it. You're a live individual eating dead food. I don't know what else to say to you. If you're living and breathing, eating something that's not living and breathing. Now, I don't want to get on my soapbox concerning nutrition, but that's just something to put in your mind. That's something to think about. It's not to stop doing it, but keep it at a minimum where your vibration can stay as high. Sometimes fast from it so you can see what the vibrational differences are. You got to discipline yourself to be as happy and has the highest quality of vibration possible to you. We know that vibration at its highest level is the sperm inside the individual. That's how it penetrates the egg with the vibrations. So we know what that is. You can't do nothing. Mind, body, and soul has a unifying that moment of orgasm and climax. You can't do nothing else. You can't go eat. You can't do nothing. You have to experience that. So we know what these high vibrations are. You feed yourself. Food means to fortify. Take in what you are made of. And when you do that, you lift your vibration. People see that, man. We are beings that no matter what, right? We are vibrational. Everything is vibrational. So when you take that in, I know it sounds, like I say, man, people say philosophy, but she said, how do we change the mind state? By creating a vibration that's attracted to the children. The Pied Piper do it. What you think they do in music right now with all that garbage? They try to change the vibration, make it attractive through all the pain and trauma, lower the vibration. They call it a rap. Boom. Boom. That's a rap that brings you into a rhythm of depression, brings you into a rhythm of trauma and hurt, and then glorifies it to you, pay you for it to keep you trapped in the rap until it becomes a rap sure. So you want to make sure.
Or a rap sheet.
Oh, yeah, rap sheet. Absolutely. So you want to make sure that you keep your vibration in a way that's more attractive than the bullshit that they trying to attract your children with, man.
Well, hey,
in other words, just be happy. Don't worry, be happy. I don't know how you're going to pull it off, but make sure you do it because that's the best example you can show anybody that you're trying to share information with. Hey, and in this world, well, when you wake up, sometimes I think about it right now, I call you, I say, man, damn, just when you wake up, you got to worry about somebody getting behind you. You got to worry about whether or not, you ever just thought about how much pressure you truly under?
Yeah.
You ever thought about how much tyranny and terrorism that you're truly under just to be able to breathe, just to be able to look like this, well, just what you're under. So to see somebody look at you and you be happy, that's doing wonders for them. You got to work on that and be disciplined enough to make sure no matter what, that they understand that whatever the pain is temporary. So they don't get trapped in it because they love you. And when they see you like that, they're going to get caught up and want to make sure you're okay. Babies, little bitty boys, protect their mothers when their mother's this big because it's a sense
and with
no
entitlement
that comes with no what?
No fear, no reservation whatsoever. That's what allows
still in
them.
tune with that divine power.
That's what allows them.
That's
to.
Beautiful, man.
I saw something not too long ago, and it was talking about stress and
Morpheus. Neo Morpheus, man. Big ups, man. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
But what he did was he took a glass, and this guy was holding the glass, and it had half. The glass was half full, so I thought he was going to do the half empty, half full kind of thing. And when he told him to put the lady to pour the water, he said, was there any difficulty in that? And she said, no, none whatsoever. And she said, pour a little more water in there. He asked her, was there any difficulty with that? She said, no. He said, they kept on talking. She would put, he said, just hold on to the glass. And they kept on talking. After a while, he said, no, just hold on to the glass. And they kept on talking. And after a while, she was quite insistent that I need to put this down. This is heavy. That's the equivalent to stress. Of carrying things on the inside. Something as simple as a glass of water. And he's saying we walk around carrying things. It's that you carry it so long and they get heavy unconsciously. Something as simple as water. That was a good example for me that let me know how stresses that you can carry get actually heavy.
Wow. The more, and stress is the #1 killer of black people, just in case you don't
Because you can't see all the shit you see about us, man.
Because you can't, man. Just for you to understand the fact that when you move around, if you want to, people who are in a situation and you look at the gravity of the situation, I think Mos Def said it best. You want to know why the straw broke the camel's back? He said, here's the secret, peep it, because there was a million other straws underneath it. That's mathematics. And so when you look at a diabetes, or you look at something as a condition, that means it has grown to that point. It has came to the point of visibility to show signs that it exists. And so by that time, then normally the treatment has to be radical enough because the cancer is present. So you have to undergo chemo and things of this nature because the natural processes have already been weakened by the disease or the condition being allowed to grow. Now, you multiply that by millions of people in the diaspora. Each one of us carries the weight for our macro conscious existence in a micro conscious way, because if you see your man, your fellow, it's a fact, and I can send you a video that if a cow, they take the baby away from milking cows so that she won't get attached and that milk won't go to the baby, and so that cow mourns, cries, and for to find out where that calf is. So you do that industry-wise as a process over and over and over and over, and that cow is never trained, never intuitively, to be comfortable with the separation of that child or the separation of that calf. You eat that food from that stress from that mother because they take that impact and that affects you. Now, if you take us as a people and how our children have been separated from us, how I watched my mother get raped. So it wasn't, I'm not just talking about from a macro conscious, now I'm talking about a micro conscious perspective. When you watch somebody get killed on TV that looks like you live, and then the man goes home and that seed is planted in your subconscious, stress begins immediately. Yep. And you begin to cope till you adapt. And once you adapt, your whole state of consciousness begins to change to focus on that external threat that you cannot deal with. Why? Because the power structure creates the inability for you to effectively remedy yourself. Where does that misplaced energy go? It goes toward this individual, because I can damage him with no repercussions besides a man eating off me free when I go to jail. But that energy has to be put somewhere. That stress breaks you down. Like Dick Gregory say, you may fear another individual killing you, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to die in the hospital. 70% of people every year die in the hospital. That stress of not having that justice. What is it? Almost, 42 senses, and we only deal with 6? The sense of justice and balance. All these things.
Peace, sense of love. You just deal with sense of taste.
That's all you deal with. So the other 6 senses you become addicted to. The sense of feel, the touch, and all that, because you're not using the other ones. You're imbalanced. That stress breaks you down over time. And you no longer have a disease. You live in a state of disease. And so in order for things like diabetes, these are symptoms of that state. In order for those to be reversed, you have to go within. Begin the hard work, the heavy lifting of being a real G, of transforming yourself, being disciplined. Putting down the things that you were using to cope with these different things. Understand how you adapted, learning your history. Because it's easy to go make $1, man. It's not easy, but it's easy to submit to that system and not have to deal with yourself. And then in the process, not saying don't get the money, but use it, put it towards yourself. Learn, man. Understand your history. Broaden your mind. Put it within yourself. Grow and vibrate. Begin to love yourself again. You'll be amazed of what the transformative power of self-love would do for the next individual. But it's that stress, that unseen stress, that is showing itself in our communities. 1 out of 3 marriages end in divorce. You're not equipped to be in a relationship with another individual. You know how hard that is? We get together
with the trauma that we're going through. Realistically, you all.
That's
with what you are seeing.
But we keep coming toward each other because by nature, we still, through self-preservation, the nature is going to cause us to keep populating, to keep growing, because we're going to outrun this condition eventually.
We've learned how to cope. We've learned how to cope with discomfort, so we accept more in our marriages and more in our relationships and more in our friendships. So that ability to adjust to coping mechanism, because you are constantly being impounded by violations.
Absolutely.
By the people that respect you.
Stacking up.
The people that you are trying to get credibility with are constantly knocking you down. Every time you see that on television, you claim all you want to about how they don't really affect me and I got to where I'm going on my own. Nobody gets to where they're going on their own. You can't live on the planet and do something by yourself. The world's not made that way.
That's why, man, I want to say something on you, and we getting ready to close this. And I definitely want you to.
About 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I want y'all to understand something. When you go to deal with another black person.
He said YouTube is Betty White saying YouTube is doing the same thing by allowing us to see this on a regular basis. Exactly. Remember, y'all, all this is the fourth branch of the government.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the media is the fourth branch.
But what you can do is make sure that when you look at another black person, that you include the whole person. Not just the individual that you're looking at. Understand where he came from, where he is, what happened to him. Take that time. And in every moment, don't get it twisted. You don't have time to do that. We get it. But you have to practice it before you get to that moment. Study your history. Deal with your piece. Make sure that in that process, when you go out, that you are a living condition of the acceptance, the love, the appreciation, and the upliftment of yourself and your people before you even run into a situation. And you won't have to be on your feet trying to scramble, dealing with anger and all that. You will already have it within your operation. You will change the condition of dis-ease and create an environment that we all can grow in. But it has to fester in you first. Look, this is Life, Love, Liberation. This is the Griot Nation. I am the capital UNCN.
This is what we're trying to prevent. The new gangs. We'll come back to this later.
We're going to deal with the effeminization.
We're going to deal with that. We have a flat screen up next week, so all these images. This is about to get gangster, because I done told you, with the appropriate PowerPoint and the appropriate props for us to show you, I'm a master teacher. And I'm starting to see this man as a master teacher because he's been right here with me now. This is going into our 8th or 9th year. And everything that we do, you all, after a while, remember I said you don't see yourself, you see your reflection. But once you get good brothers, then you begin to really see yourself. Y'all understand that? You really begin to see yourself in that other person.
Much love to the 3,000 viewers from last week, man. We appreciate it so much.
And I say this to Brother Khalil, too. I've seen that reflection through media with you. Because I never fooled around with the internet. I never fooled around with social media in any capacity. And you convinced me to do so. So as we go on, every person that we
old school country is hell. Yeah, you didn't want to deal with no technology.
No. And Azra Quaker was the same way. I remember it took him years to get Sister Mary Rod to convince him to go on and do that. It wasn't but a few years ago the brother got a phone. He traveled all over the world. And it wasn't about a few years ago I got one. Thank you, PG, for that. And thank you, Brother Khalil, for this. Because sometimes it takes that to push you to the next level. But I know there's a lot of things I've done over my 30 years that I bring that those brothers will benefit from as well. So what we do, we'll benefit from each other.
What you see reflects what you see, thanks to John Caesar. That's not how it goes. We're going to let the brother lead y'all with how the term really goes. For those that see Griot Nation Radio last week, John Caesar, man. Much love. Hey, check this out, man. We're going to get out of here. I'm going to let my man Rod close it out. Anyone, sisters, I'll be watching next Sunday. Anytime, sister. Oh, I appreciate the love.
Thank you very much, Miss Harris.
No doubt, everybody man, that tuned in, man. You know, we
and check us out on our show in Buffalo at 8 o'clock Central.
No, Eastern.
Eastern, okay.
8 to 10 Eastern.
7. What are we?
And 7 in Central.
That's for us. So if you're in Dallas, you hear us at 7 o'clock. Go to WLK.com. But if you're in Buffalo, New York, you can hear us in your car. But you know, we're going to change that. You should be hearing us in Dallas real soon.
BWNY broadcast, man. Y'all make sure y'all check it out, man.
That's Black West New York, right? That's what we talking about, BW.
And the women are invited as well. But man, John sees, hey, check this out,
so
man.
John is there, John?
No. That's Khalil. Send love through the Peace Brothers. I appreciate it, man. Hey, check this out, man. unseenmaroon@gmail.com. If you got any questions, you want to talk, you want your comments to be aired next week before we get started, we can already be on top of that. And so definitely hit my man up, projectjams@hotmail.com. Yo, we open to the public, man. You know, it's all family. There ain't a question that you can embarrass us with, because it's all love, man. We done dealt with, listen, let's make sure we clear, right? We've dealt with our people killing themselves. I mean, literally, sister, slitting their wrists. We've dealt with brothers being forced to rape other brothers and rape them, and all kind of graphic situations. So it's nothing. And the brother got it right here in the folder right now. We can show you. So it's nothing that you can hit us with. It's nothing that we as a people that we're not willing to deal with. So make sure you get in contact with us, MaroonRashidi@gmail.com. That's the new address for my man. Yeah. Make sure you get at him. I want to make sure I read that right. Maroon Rashidi, not Mormon. Maroon Rashidi@gmail.com. Big up to my man Khalil for putting that up for us, man. Hey,
no, that's Mr. Rashidi. See,
okay, no,
I'm gonna get some glasses too.
Yeah. Hey, I need glasses, no doubt. Okay, www.facebook.com/Unseen Maroon. Get at me, man, on Facebook. A lot of love, man. I want to say much love to my two sons, man. His birthday was last week, man. We had a great time.
That's right, and you know what? You said how big he's getting too. I haven't seen him in a while.
To his mother, man, holding it down. She doing her thing. We're not as close as we would like to be as a family, but to my sons, man, the reflection of me. Love you so much, man. We do this for you. We do this for my oldest sons. We do this for your grandchildren, man. We do this for everybody. Mm-hmm. I know it look like we having a good time.
And we are. And we should be.
At the end of the day, this is a celebration of three things, man. Life,
love, and liberation.
Y'all hold it down.
And also, Brother EJ, congratulations, man.
Man, can't get out without saying that, man.
To your wife, Cheryl.
Man, congratulations, man. He had a son that graduated from Morehouse University.
That's right. He's a Morehouse, man. That means something, y'all. You know how many brothers are coming out of the penitentiary, going to prison? For you to be able to raise your child and take them all the way through school and get completed with that degree and possibly go on and get. And the brother's looking for work. And those of you out there, I'm going to mention this on our platform in New York and other places too. And I want to get them on the show. We should do that. If you just getting out, you had trouble finding a job, hit us up. That's real work right there. Put you out there, put your resume on Griot Nation Radio. Right. Let's help you find some work. These things are used for more than us just greasing you.
Yeah.
Playing music that ain't beneficial to you.
And like the brother said earlier, we can make sure that, he is shown as an example to other young people, because young people listen to other young people.
That's right.
So,
but anyway, y'all, with that,
work, man.
Y'all, we the willing, led by the unknowing, and doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We've done so much for so long with so little that we're not qualified to do anything with nothing. And in closing, it's always L3. It's life, love, and liberation. Holla Black, y'all. Next week, without question.
Deuces. Button you go off on.